Ron Howard, a name that resonates deeply with American audiences, has lived a life that defies the expectations of Hollywood success. While many know him as the beloved child star Opie Taylor from The Andy Griffith Show, or as the director behind masterpieces like Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind, his journey through fame is one marked by significant challenges, sacrifice, and a relentless pursuit of personal and professional growth. Born in Duncan, Oklahoma, on March 1st, 1954, to actor parents Rance and Jean Howard, Ron's entry into the entertainment industry began before he could even comprehend the pressures that would shape his future. By the age of 18 months, he was already on film sets, leaving behind the simple joys of childhood for the cold, demanding world of Hollywood. This early immersion in the industry would mark the beginning of a career that would both define and trap him. As a young boy, Ron Howard's life was dictated by the rhythm of the film industry. The Howards relocated to California, chasing opportunities in television and film. However, Ron's schooling was far from conventional. Instead of normal classrooms, his lessons took place in cramped trailers behind sound stages, where the sounds of production often drowned out any semblance of childhood normalcy. Even more troubling, the harsh realities of adult life were thrust upon him too soon. Smoky sets, alcohol-fueled arguments, and a world that moved at an adult pace. As a 6-year-old, Ron learned to navigate a world full of grown-up problems, while also struggling with the loneliness that came with his fame. His childhood wasn't just consumed by work, it was isolated by it, leaving him to grow up fast in a world that couldn't allow him to be a child. The burden of fame at a young age. When Ron Howard stepped into the role of Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show in 1960, America fell in love with his wholesome image. But behind the comforting persona of Opie was a young boy dealing with a growing sense of isolation. Fame had arrived early, and with it came the sharp realities of being a child star. California law required him to attend school for only 3 hours a day, but the children around him were colleagues, not friends. He never had the chance to experience a typical childhood, with no recess bells or weekend play dates. While many children his age were running around in parks, Ron was filming in a controlled environment where his peers were older and the world outside felt far too vast and intimidating. This golden cage, as he later described it, provided safety, but at the cost of his freedom, trapping him in a world where he was seen but never truly known. Beyond the studio walls, Ron faced further torment. His fame made him a target for ridicule, especially at school where he was teased relentlessly. The nickname Dopey Opie followed him everywhere, a cruel reminder that the world saw him as nothing more than a character. The pressure of living under the public's gaze also took a toll on his self-esteem. At just 8 years old, during the filming of The Music Man, Ron suffered a panic attack during a dance scene. Terrified of disappointing the adults around him, he confessed to co-star Shirley Jones that he couldn't perform the routine, revealing a vulnerability that belied his public persona. These moments of weakness, buried under years of fame, shaped a young man who, despite the love from millions, felt profoundly alone. Struggles of growing up in Hollywood. As Ron transitioned into adolescence, his fame continued to cling to him like a second skin. At the age of 13, he landed the role of Richie Cunningham in Happy Days, a character that became emblematic of the 1970s. Yet, this newfound fame wasn't as freeing as it appeared. Despite his talent, Ron was constantly overshadowed by the growing stardom of his co-star Henry Winkler, whose portrayal of the Fonz became the face of the show. Ron felt trapped in a role that the public wouldn't allow him to grow out of. Casting directors were reluctant to cast him in anything else, fearing audiences would only see Richie Cunningham. Despite his frustration, Ron's inner drive to prove himself never waned. He harbored a deep fear that Hollywood would remember him as Opie and Richie forever, leaving him no room to evolve beyond the roles that had defined his youth. Ron's aspirations beyond television came with mixed results. A chance to break free from typecasting came with The Monroes, a series that unfortunately was canceled after just 26 episodes. The cancellation hit Ron hard, leaving him questioning his own abilities. He felt responsible for the show's failure, plagued by self-doubt. This was a pivotal moment in his life. Hollywood had already placed him in a box, and now, as an adult, he was struggling to escape it. But rather than giving in to despair, Ron found a new path forward. This moment of professional rejection became a catalyst for change. He realized that if he wanted to shape his future, he had to step out from under the shadows of his past roles and redefine himself on his own terms. The turning point. Embracing directorial vision. By the early 1980s, Ron Howard's time as a child star had come to an end. He left behind his role as Richie Cunningham and sought to forge a new path in filmmaking. Enrolling at the University of Southern California's School of Cinematic Arts, he began to understand film not just as an actor but as a storyteller. The lens of a camera for the first time became a tool for self-expression. With a newfound passion for directing, Ron made his first foray behind the camera in 1982 with Night Shift. The film didn't make a huge splash at the box office, but it was enough to show that Ron had the ability to create, shape stories, and command a set. It was a quiet but significant achievement that marked the beginning of his journey as a director. He had found a new voice, one that wasn't bound by the characters of his past, but was instead driven by his own creative vision. Ron's big break as a director came in 1984 with the success of Splash, a romantic comedy that grossed over $69 million. This success confirmed Ron's place in Hollywood as a credible and capable director. But the pressures of living up to his success soon began to take their toll. In 1985, he co-founded Imagine Entertainment, and the company went on to produce some of the most memorable films of the 1990s, including A Beautiful Mind, Cocoon, and Backdraft. Despite the accolades and the financial success, Ron couldn't escape the constant drive that pushed him to work harder and longer. He feared that if he ever stopped or stumbled, Hollywood would once again forget him, reducing him to nothing more than a childhood star. His relentless work ethic was rooted in insecurity, the fear that one misstep could undo all that he had built. The price of success: family, grief, and reflection. In 1995, Ron Howard directed Apollo 13, a film that catapulted him from an established director to a master storyteller. The film was a massive success, earning over $350 million worldwide and garnering multiple Academy Award nominations. But even as he stood on the pinnacle of his career, Ron was struggling with personal loss. His mother, Jean, was in the late stages of heart failure, and his brother, Clint, was battling addiction. These personal crises forced Ron to confront the painful truth that no amount of professional success could shield him from the harsh realities of life. He had built a career based on his work ethic, but it had come at the expense of his relationships. He had neglected the people who had supported him before Hollywood even knew his name. The passing of his mother in 2000 hit Ron hard, and he was left to grapple with the regret of missed moments, years spent on set while his family waited at home. After his mother's passing, Ron's life continued to be shaped by the struggles of those he loved. His brother Clint, a talented actor in his own right, struggled with addiction for years. Ron fought to help him, feeling an overwhelming sense of responsibility as his older brother. He wanted to save Clint, believing that if he could just build a stronger safety net, he could protect him from his demons. But addiction doesn't respond to wealth, fame, or well-intentioned gestures. Ron's efforts to help Clint were met with limited success, and the pain of nearly losing his brother left deep scars. His relationship with Clint, marked by both love and frustration, became another chapter in Ron's story of survival. Legacy and final reflections. A life built on persistence. As Ron Howard approaches the later years of his life, he reflects on a career defined by persistence, resilience, and the deep connections he has built with those closest to him. Today, his wealth, derived from Imagine Entertainment, film royalties, and smart investments, is not just a testament to his professional success, but a symbol of a man who has fought to shape his destiny on his own terms. More importantly, Ron's story is one of personal growth, as he learned to balance the demands of his career with the importance of family and human connection. Despite his immense success, he never lost sight of the things that mattered most. Today, Ron finds peace in the simple pleasures of life: long dinners with his children, quiet mornings with his wife, and moments spent reflecting on the life he has built, not in fame but in love, persistence, and the strength to keep standing after every storm.